most of the human population is already covered with the connectivity.
Right.
India has to become a self-sustained. Today, if we talk about, I'll say about the employment. Today, if whatever the handful of the large corporate we have, they will fall short of, innovative. We need a large startup base.
How do you see artificial intelligence integration?
Now coming to the 5G network, we are already, using this AI technology.
Which is your favorite gadget?
My favorite gadget is, at some point in time, was the Xbox, to be very honest.
Hello and welcome back to IMC 2024, and I have a very special guest with me now, Mr. Girish Dave. He is Assistant Vice President, 5G Partnerships and Alliance at Jio Platforms Limited. Very good afternoon, Girish. Thank you so much for taking our time.
Good afternoon, Geetu.
Girish, if we talk about the Jio platform, Jio as we name it, it has been a game changer. In less than a decade, the entire telecom space has been revolutionized by Jio. How do you feel about it first? And what are you planning as far as 5G and 6G is concerned in India?
Absolutely. First of all, thanks Geetu for giving this opportunity to interact with you. So at Jio, we truly feel privileged to be part of this story. Telecom being the enabler of enablers for various industries, and Jio has been quite doing it very religiously, and we have done this very successfully. Since the inception of our 4G services, you would have observed that altogether a new smartphone economy has emerged. Now the smartphone economy is not just about the users surfing the internet and all those things, but it has also facilitated a new generation of the entrepreneurs who has leveraged this connectivity part to reach to the hinterlands, to the further areas in the rural zones, which has given them the opportunity to scale their businesses, to come up with different products and different kind of solutions. For example, I'll tell you the biggest success case. One of the biggest success case is the physics wala.
Yeah.
So physics wala, how it became so successful? The very simple reason was because of the 4G connectivity. He was able to reach to the masses. He was able to teach to the students in the rural areas who were capitalizing on the smartphones. And interestingly, it has never been seen elsewhere in the world that in India, the first time internet users, majority of them were the smartphone users, not the laptop users.
Right.
So this is a very distinct, thing which Jio has made it possible. Then came the 5G thing. So after, creating such a large ecosystem of players which help eventually, catalyze the India's GDP growth or remain instrumental in India's, the growth story. Now is the 5G story. In 5G case, the Jio has, done another interesting and an unprecedented thing which now the world has never witnessed. What we have done is that we have provided a digital sovereignty to the nation by designing, developing and deploying end-to-end indigenously developed homegrown 5G stack, which is all developed by our experts, our software developers right here in India, which are right with Jio platforms. And that same stack is now being in a huge demand by worldwide players because of this post-COVID era, when there was the vacuum left behind by the Chinese players. And today half of the world, especially who is averse to using this platforms which are not very safe, to adopt the Jio platforms, end-to-end 5G stack. And what essentially, we did it in this whole case was, we were not relying on any kind of legacy. What we have done is that we have totally relied on the next generation technology without being bogged down by any kind of, the legacy things or any kind of investment. And we have and this was totally a software centric approach. And in this software centric approach, it was a pretty bold decisions by us to invest in a very bold manner without really bothering about that how will be the return on investment. And now it's all the history that we are saying the success case, left, right and center. Today in this IMC also, if you observe here, the motivation behind bringing the different industry players beyond the telecom essentially comes from the very thought process that our chairman has always muled about, that we should be like the enablers of the enablers. We should be helping the other industry players to leverage the telecom infrastructure and pin their growth story around that. And exactly that's what right now we are doing in this IMC. We are having a huge participation beyond the telecom players. And on the Jio booth as well, I encourage all of you to even after post IMC also to see what the demos we are doing. So they are basically the consolidation of all the different industry to whom the Jio can cater with its state of art, cutting edge infrastructure and the digital services. We are essentially a tech company, and now we are in a full-fledged manner, creating the new era where the AI is the new electricity and has an overarching impact across the industries, across the technology. So all those things are here in demo display, and it is helping the other industries which we are seeing right now, demonstrating here and bringing in their solution. So very glad to be part of this story, and I am sure that on this track of being third largest economy in the world, the Geo is going to really and you contribute very effectively in this story, and is going to add to further speed of this our targeted achievement.
To reach to a level where Geo is right now, there have been major challenges, and everybody faces challenges and gets to the top. So, what have been the three biggest challenges for Geo?
See, in terms of the challenges, first of all, at Geo, what we see is wherever we see the challenge, we convert it into an opportunity, and that's what we really doesn't believe in creating our position where it becomes like a winner's curse. Every time we are kind of aspiring for something or the other. However, in terms of the challenges, if we say, we must admit that there is never a situation where somebody doesn't face a challenge.
Right.
In case of, for example, when we deployed this 5G, it was highly a capital intensive.
True.
And it was a very bold decision. We would have seen like most of the 5G, although people claim it as a 5G, but it's a recycled 4G, wherein you have used all the infrastructure of the 4G and just put the radio base station and what we call it as a 5G NSA, non-standalone pool. Whereas in case of Jio, from the very first day, we deployed the true 5G network based on the standalone technology, and this was like a totally a disruptive, never seen ever in the telecom industry worldwide. And today, with this, we are able to create the world's largest data network. We created the humongous amount of the use cases. For example, the IPL, the way we have streamed it.
Yes.
We were given a challenge that we have to stream smoothly on every smartphone. Whoever wants to watch the Jio Cinema or the IPL on the Jio Cinema, and it was done with an absolute flawlessly. So when we anticipated the challenges, it actually turned out to be an opportunity, and we end up creating our technology prowess. And what has really helped us here is our homegrown stack, that dependence on us only, that whatever we have to deploy, we are having a battery of our software experts, and the software centric approach has really helped us. So all these challenges what we saw was like, how will you capitalize on the new way of doing the telecom business which is never seen before, how we are going to create the network at scale based on the homegrown technology. So all these challenges we had in the initial phase, but eventually when we started venturing into it, it all converted into an opportunity, and rest is the history.
Girish, we are talking about 5G, 6G, but connectivity is still an issue in India because of its vast, the number of villages that we have is much more than the urban population and urban centers that we have. And reaching that population is what will make India stand out.
Absolutely.
So what is being done for rural connectivity?
Absolutely. So that's a very great question. So I'll tell you one very interesting statistics worldwide, that today telecom network worldwide, I am saying, not about India. Today the telecom networks are covering 15% of the landmass, just 15%. You cannot cover the sea areas, you cannot cover the every hinterland, you cannot cover the Amazon rainforest. Just impossible to cover those places, right? We are towards achieving the sustainable development goals also. We have to leave a planet which is livable for our next generation. So we cannot keep on wasting the resources left, right and center just because you have a money. Nature doesn't belong to a money, nature belongs to a nature. So keeping that larger picture in mind, what essentially we think is that the places where you really doesn't need 10x kind of speeds, we are thinking, and we strongly believe that the NTN networks, the non-terrestrial network which is based on the satellites, are going to do wonders. So this interoperability between the non-terrestrial networks, which is a satellite-based, and the terrestrial network, which is our 4G, 5G, and going for next G network, are going to work together, are going to get synchronized with each other, and will be able to provide services to the every hinterland, every underserved, which is very very less. And most important is that I'll say that most of the human population is already covered with the connectivity.
Right.
What is left behind is that unconnected non-livings. So this satellite connectivity will, when they will connect this non-living unconnected, then you will find the connected human also reaching to them and leveraging them, which is further going to kind of have a positive cascading impact on creating a sustainable world all around us. So basically, this satellite-based communication is something what we are touting it in tandem with our telecom networks, not in isolation or as segments, but interconnected, harmonized, synchronized, very seamlessly together is going to address that problem of unconnected.
गिरीश जी, इंडिया एक ऐसी कंट्री है जहाँ पे इंटरनेट यूजर सबसे ज़्यादा है दुनिया में, ठीक है, लेकिन स्पीड इज़ अगेन एन इशू. इंटरनेट स्पीड को हम इंटरनेशनल लेवल्स तक लेके नहीं आ पा रहे. उसके व्हाट आर द मेजर रीजंस फॉर दैट?
देखिए, आप अगर ये ओपन सिग्नल की भी आप रिपोर्ट देखिएगा, अभी वो केस नहीं है. अगर शायद आप ये बात 2 साल पहले करते ना, तो ये बात सही थी आपकी. अभी जो पूरा आप ये जो रिसेंटली उकला की ओपन सिग्नल की आप रिपोर्ट देखिए, उसमें फॉर्चुनेटली जियो वर्ल्ड का सेकंड लार्जेस्ट हाई परफॉर्मिंग नेटवर्क है, सेकंड लार्जेस्ट आफ्टर टी मोबाइल यूएसए, हु हैज़ बीन लाइक very bold about 5G and we have been to वर्ल्ड के सेकंड है हम लोग, सेकंड. आप अगर जियो पर्सपेक्टिव से देखोगे वो चैलेंज नहीं है, बट यस इंडिया पर्सपेक्टिव से वो चैलेंज है, क्योंकि सब ने रिसाइकल्ड 4G यूज़ किया है 5G के नाम पे. जब तक आप ऐसे कोर नहीं करोगे 5G स्टैंड अलोन, तब तक आपको सबको वो स्पीड नहीं मिलेगी. आज की डेट में जियो के अगर इंडिया में 1.2 बिलियन या जो भी हमारे सब्सक्राइबर बेस है, जियो के आज 490 मिलियन है, बट बाकी के तो दूसरों के नेटवर्क के ऊपर भी है जी, राइट, जो बेसिकली एक रिसाइकल्ड 4G यूज़ कर रहा है और कोई 4G यूज़ ही नहीं कर रहा, कोई 5G यूज़ ही नहीं कर रहा. तो ये सारे चैलेंजेस जो है, आई थिंक जब ये 5G ऐसे को डिप्लॉय होगा, दूसरे ऑपरेटर्स भी डिप्लॉय करेंगे, तो आप देखेंगे कि ये समस्या काफ़ी हद तक इसका समाधान आ जाएगा. फिर आप देखोगे कि लोग सोचेंगे कि ऐसा में आज हमारे जियो नेटवर्क में जब स्पीड की बात करते हैं, अभी मैं जस्ट ये किसी से एक यंग स्टार्टअप ओनर से बात कर रहा था, बोले सर हमें बहुत ज़्यादा स्पीड मिलती है, जब मैं उसको स्पीड टेस्ट पे करता हूँ तो मेरे एप्लीकेशन मेरे उसके ऊपर 150 Mbps जैसी स्पीड आती है, बट मैं कौन सा एप्लीकेशन ऐसा यूज़ करूँ, पीछे एप्लीकेशन सर्वर ही इतना स्लो होता है. तो नेटवर्क स्लो नहीं है, पीछे एप्लीकेशन सर्वर ही स्लो होता है. तो अभी चैलेंज आ रही है कि उनको एप्लीकेशन सर्वर का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग करना है कि वो नेटवर्क की स्पीड को यूज़ कर पाए. उन्होंने वो देख के हम लोगों ने अभी जो जियो में हमने जो किया है, हमने उनको भी ट्रिगर कर दिया है कि आप अपना एप्लीकेशन एनवायरनमेंट के अंदर भी कंप्यूटेशन बैंडविड्थ इतनी बढ़ाओ कि आप पूरा 5G नेटवर्क को कैपिटलाइज कर पाए. तो ये जब तक सारे ऑपरेटर स्टैंड अलोन कोर पे नहीं जाएंगे, 5G ऐसे कोर पे जब तक नहीं जाएंगे, तब तक ये समस्या का समाधान नहीं होगा.
राइट. तो जियो कहाँ पहुँचा 6G के बारे में? बिकॉज आप तो सब 6G की बात कर रहे हैं, 5G का रोल आउट तो हो ही रहा है, बट 6G की सारी बात कर रहे हैं. और how do you see artificial intelligence integration into 5G and 6G happening?
See, the artificial intelligence and the machine learning are now having an overarching impact all across the technology. It's a new electricity basically.
Right.
Now coming to the 5G network, we are already using this AI technology in a pervasive manner, be it for the customer experience management, be it for the preemptive network management or monitoring of the KPIs, what kind of services our customer is getting. So we are very preemptively using this AI technology. In 6G, this is going to be even more pervasive. We would be happy to hear that today Jio has already filed more than 1,500 patent applications around 5G advanced and 6G technology, which has potential to become part of the standard essential patents. This will be for the first time that Indian telecom vendor has filed the patent to this scale, and we will be immediately on the global map of telecom technology or the digital technologies.
That's great.
So we have already done that 1500 from R, and in total if you see around 3000 plus.
Okay.
So this is a testimony to what we are doing in 5G advanced and 6G space. Another thing is that our 5G, our maturity in deploying the 5G SA core technology has really proved to be, this platform has proved to be a Trojan horse, which will help us to, fend off any kind of a challenges coming forward, which other operators will face because of its cloud native architecture, because of its automation capability, because of its native AI capabilities already built inside, and we are using automation all around, as I said, customer network and so on. So this is going to be our another strong point in adopting any next G kind of technology. Right now 6G is under the draft specification space, but our software centric approach again gives us an edge in terms of flexibly modifying the things, flexibly developing the things, as it is all now hardware agnostic. Our software approach is really helping us navigate through different technological changes, the challenges which we faced initially, that how we are going to plan it so that it becomes a future proof, so that the investment what we are doing in this doesn't at any point in time goes into the lockers as an asset without use. So that part, all the challenges we have converted into an opportunity. So in fact, what we have done with our software centric approach in partially in 4G, completely in 5G, and same thing in 5G advanced, and similarly the 6G will be all around the software centric approach. Even the, I don't want to say right at this point in time, even the protocols and the interfaces will be somewhere defined on the fly by the AI. You just have the first message and then the protocol, nobody need to go and write somewhere, it will be defined on the fly. So that kind of things are envisioned. I don't know when, whether it will be in 6G or beyond, but those kind of things are really have a very prolific impact, a very far-reaching impact in terms of creating a technology which will be far more democratic, far more federative. At Jio, we firmly believe that technology should not be only in the hands of the elite; it has to be democratic, and that's what in every endeavor of our development, of our design, or of our deployment, of our approach towards helping the other industries, we just think that it should be democratic and it should be in the hands of everyone.
Our startup ecosystem technology maybe has been the fastest growing in the world. So what is your view about startups in India, and do they really need to gear up from here on?
Absolutely, that's a great question, because the kind of the working population which we are going to see in the coming time, the kind of the huge population base we have, we see a lot of geopolitics destabilization happening world across. India has to become a self-sustained. Today, even if we talk about, I'll say about the employment. Today, if whatever the handful of the large corporate we have, they will fall short of innovating. We need a large startup base who can convert from startup to a large conglomerate, and India needs a 10x of the conglomerates what we have right now. So this startup ecosystem really need to harness this digital ecosystem infrastructure, and I'll say that you must think big, not get complacent. So that is one of the challenge with the startup ecosystem right now, that everybody sometimes they become too short-sighted and they make something, and after that they lose a sight of their vision. They should never lose a sight of the vision. And when they are thinking about the startup, I feel that money should come secondary, tertiary. They should have a passion to develop that idea into such a big thing that we have the next big, what we have, the farms kind of players right from India. We have missed that bus like industrialization at some point in time, but these startups should really not let India down this time, and in next a decade of time, India should have high-tech startups, which is like leveraging this infrastructure, leveraging the players like Jio, who are all there to help them out with the latest and greatest infrastructure, and they should have a sight of growth, progress in their mind, and a very 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 big vision. If they doesn't have the big vision, then they will repent, because the opportunities are galore. It is limitless.
True.
And especially in case of India. You have a large base of people, experts who are ready to contribute. You just need to harness their capability. As simple as that.
गिरीश, यू बीइंग ए टेकी, समटाइम्स आपको लगता है कि फोन को साइड पे रखे और सुकून की जिंदगी थोड़ा बिता ले?
ये बहुत अच्छी बात है और मेरी एक विजन है कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमें कुछ ऐसे एरियाज इंडिया में बनाने चाहिए जहाँ पे कनेक्टिविटी बिल्कुल ना हो.
वेरी ट्रू.
ये बट ज़्यादा नहीं होने चाहिए एरिया. बहुत कम ऐसे होने चाहिए जहाँ पे आदमी जाके ब्रेकआउट कर सके, चाहे छोटे से गाँव ही हो. कोई सीनिक जगह पे होने चाहिए, वहाँ पे कनेक्टिविटी बिल्कुल नहीं होनी चाहिए. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा SOS के लिए थोड़ा बहुत हो जाए. बाकी कुछ टाइम के लिए साल में आप 1 हफ्ता 2 हफ्ता ऐसे डिटॉक्स हो जाओ. जो आप जैसे करते हो ना, 10 दिन के लिए आप कहीं जाते हो, आप कुछ बोलते नहीं हो
जी.
वैसे ही आप एक इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सप्लोजन को लिमिट कर दो. बट वो 10 दिन के लिए आप कीजिए
विपासना.
विपासना. करेक्ट, विपासना. तो वो चीज़ एक बहुत ज़रूरी होती है, उसको ज़रूर कीजिए. फिर आप उससे भी इतने थक जाओगे कि फिर आपको कनेक्टिविटी अच्छी लगेगी. फिर आप आके उसको प्रॉपरली लिवरेज करो. और एक चीज़ मैं बताऊंगा कि एक मैं अपना पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस बताऊंगा कि आप जब भी फ़ोन उठाए ना, तो आप कभी भी बिना पर्पस के स्क्रॉल ना करें.
ऐसा हो सकता है क्या?
आप उठाने से पहले सोचो मुझे क्या पढ़ना है. ओके, आई वांट टू थिंक अबाउट हाउ द AI कैन हेल्प मी इन राइटिंग माय ब्रोशर्स. तो मैं फ़ोन उठाने से पहले मेरे माइंड में क्लियर है, उसके अराउंड मैं ढूंढूंगा. प्रॉब्लम कहाँ हो जाती है कि आप अपने ब्रेन को रियली ड्रेन करते हो. जहाँ पे आप खोल दिया, आपने रील्स देखे जा रहे हो, आप वो देखे जा रहे हो, ये देखे जा रहे हो. आप बहुत सारा वीडियो कंटेंट बहुत अच्छा सा है, आप उसको स्ट्रीम करो, प्रॉपरली देखिए और बहुत ही पर्पसफुली इसको यूज़ करो. आप जितना यूज़ करते हो उससे ज़्यादा यूज़ करोगे पर आपको थकान कम होगी. जब आप पर्पसलेसली आप खाली देखते हो ना, तो आपको थकान ज़्यादा होती है, आप कंज्यूम कम करते हो. तो ये एक मैंने प्रैक्टिकली अपने अंदर अप्लाई किया है. और मैं तो मतलब मैं बताऊंगा कि जब YouTube लॉन्च हुआ था 2005 में, आई वॉज द फर्स्ट टाइम हु स्टार्टेड स्ट्रीमिंग इट.
ओके.
2005 में मेरा एक कॉलिग साइड में बैठता था और हम दोनों ने फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम उसको पॉपुलर किया था अपनी ऑफिस में. हम सबको लगता है यूट्यूब तो बहुत पहले से है. हम दोनों वेर द 2 पायनियर जिसने ये किया था. दूसरा मैं आपको केस बताऊं, मैं फ्रैंकफर्ट एयरपोर्ट पे था. तो मेरा फ्लाइट डिले हो गया. 2006 की बात है. मेरे फेसबुक में भी वही प्रोफाइल पिक है. मैं उसको जानबूझ के नहीं हटा था, फिर भी चाहे वो ब्लर्ड है. मैंने P990i फोन से सेल्फी ली थी. उस टाइम पे सेल्फी का कल्चर नहीं था.
ओके.
राइट. वो पीछे ब्रेटलिंग का प्लेन था और मैंने हाथ से ऐसा प्लेन ऐसे फोटो खींचा था. और मेरे फ्रेंड ने उस पर कमेंट भी की थी, क्या भाई कोई है नहीं तुम्हारा दोस्त जो खुद का फोटो खुद ही कुछ खींच रहे हो.
सो यू आर द ट्रेंड सेटर.
सो मुझे मतलब अभी लगता है, मैंने उसको आज भी डिलीट नहीं की है. मैंने वो पिक्चर 2007 में लिया था फ्रैंकफर्ट एयरपोर्ट पे. आज आप देखो कि आज सेल्फी इज बिकमिंग अ डिफेक्टिव वे ऑफ टेकिंग द पिक्चर्स. एज सिंपल एज दैट. सो आपको ये नहीं पता ना कि आप जब चीज़ें एक पर्पसफुली आप जब यूज़ करते हो ना, जो आपको कन्वीनियंट लगे, जो आपकी थॉट प्रोसेस के हिसाब से आपको ठीक लगे, एक थॉट प्रोसेस विद अ गुड इंटेंट, ये आपको बहुत हेल्प करेगा. वो बोलते हैं ना कि एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज आर द 2 साइड्स ऑफ द सेम कॉइन. आपको वो एडवांटेज वाला पार्ट पॉइंट करना है. दैट इज द होल द क्रक्स ऑफ द स्टोरी.
So which is your favorite gadget?
My favorite gadget is at some point in time was the Xbox, to be very honest. मैंने बहुत उसको यूज़ किया है. 2011 से मैंने उस पर सारे, और सबसे ज़्यादा मुझे उस गैजेट में एक अच्छा लगता था कि उसमें जो कारों के साउंड आते थे ना, वो एग्जैक्ट ओरिजिनल.
राइट.
जो चाहे मासेराती हो या जो मैं जब कुछ टाइम जब मैं अब्रॉड काम करता था, तो मैं कार के मैंने अब्रॉड ही खरीदा था इसको. तो वहाँ पे ये सब सारी हाई एंड कार्स बहुत होती थी. अभी तो यहाँ पर भी बहुत है. तो लैम्बोर्गिनी की मैं आवाज़ सुनता था. हमारी सोसाइटी में ही कुछ लैम्बोर्गिनीज वगैरह सब होती थी. तो मैं पार्किंग में से जब निकलता था तो कोई लैम्बोर्गिनी लेके जा रहा है, कोई मासेराती लेके जा रहा है, कोई चैलेंजर, फोर्ड चैलेंजर लेके जा रहा है. मैं उन सबकी आवाज़ सुनता था. और फिर मैं जब वो एक्सबॉक्स पे सुनता था, सेम आवाज़ और उनके लुक्स भी सेम. फिर आप उसको जब मॉडिफाई करने के लिए जब दरवाजे वगैरह, इट वाज सो इमर्सिव एक्सपीरियंस. तो जो ग्राफिक्स उन्होंने किया था, इट इज़ वेरी पेनफुल कि एक्सबॉक्स को इन्होंने वो कर दिया फास्ट. ये जो आपका जो इसका जो गेम था बेसिकली, सो वो जो वाला गेम था वो बहुत एंटाइसिंग था. और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ ये थी कि उस टाइम पे मैं जो ये क्या बोलते हैं, जो हैंड में डिवाइस था 2011 में, वो जब वाइब्रेट करता था, इट वाज गिविंग यू द एग्जैक्ट फीलिंग आप जब कार को एकदम टर्न करते हो.
राइट.
दूसरा उसके साथ मुझे किनेक्ट आया था, जिसमें आप विद hand movement, you can play tennis, you can do hiking, you can do the mountain climbing, you can do play the table tennis. All those games you can do with the Kinect. वो भी गैजेट मुझे बहुत प्यारा लगा. पर अभी जो जियो ने किया है, वो जो सारी कैपेबिलिटीज जो एक डिवाइसेस में, पावरफुल डिवाइसेस में आती थी, अब हमने जो ये नेटवर्क डेवलप किया है ना, उस नेटवर्क के अंदर ही इतनी कैपेबिलिटी है.
अच्छा.
उस 5G के अंदर इतनी कैपेबिलिटी है कि आपको वो लो लेटेंसी जो कनेक्शन देता है ना, उससे वो सारी प्रोसेसिंग कैपेबिलिटी नेटवर्क में चली जाती है. आप इस हैंडहेल्ड डिवाइस से भी वो सारे सॉफ्टवेयर से वो सारी गेम्स प्ले कर सकते हो. आज मैं वो गेम इस पे भी खेलता हूँ. सेम वाइब्रेशन मुझे इस पे भी आता है.
Okay.
जो मैंने उसके ऊपर जो उस टाइम पे 2 लाख रुपए का खर्चा किया था, अब मुझे लगता है मेरे ये इस फोन में ही सारा काम हो रहा है. सो ऑल दैट कॉस्ट विच वाज स्पेंट ऑन द डिवाइसेस फॉर हैविंग एन हाई एंड processing capability or high end storage capabilities or tailor made processing capabilities, that is all now being taken care by our core and edge infrastructure, again homegrown.
Right. Atmanirbhar.
Digital sovereignty.
Right.
We don't have to rely for anything next time. Even if there is, God forbid, any adversity, we are self-reliant. Even if in this worldwide supply chain age of supply chain disruption, we are self-reliant for this part.
Thank you, Girish Ji, for your time. It was pleasure speaking with you, sir.
Pleasure, Geetu. It was
Thank
really
you so
nice.
much.